Hello, everyone. We're back with another lesson. Today's actually the last lesson of our chapter 1, where we'll be solving equations. And this one, for lesson 1.4, we're actually going to be solving equations with two variables. First and most important thing is when we're solving equations with two or more variables, we need to understand that our answer will not be a number, but an equation. So, for instance, our answers could be x plus 3 equals y. And that will be what our answer looks like sometimes. And we have to be okay with that. I know typically in math, we're so used to looking for numbers. In this case, we're not. We'll be looking at equations and how to solve them. So it's important for us to, when we're doing these types of problems, it's important for us to first read what we're solving for. In this case, we are solving for x, right? And the reason why it's more important than other ones is because we have two variables. We have one variable here, and we have another variable here. We have a y and an x. So we have to really understand what is it that we're solving. We're solving for x, okay? So that means I have to get x by itself. I want to say that one more time. We have to get the variable that we're solving for by itself. And so in this case, we have to get x by itself. So in this example here, y equals 18 plus x. What we're going to get is understanding that we first, and the only thing we have to do is we have to move this 18. And let me fix this x here. And we move it just like what we would do any other problem. We move it by subtracting. We see that 18 is positive, so we're going to minus 18. Oops, sorry. Let me reset my zoom real quick. We're going to minus 18. And so that means I have to minus 18 here. Now this is where it gets maybe a little different, right? I can't subtract y from 18. I just can't. And so what I end up getting is I just get this, y minus 18 equals x. Because here, the 18 cancels, and I just have y minus 18. And that's our answer, right? Which is different. Now, this is going to take a lot of getting used to, right? Understanding that when I minus 18 here, that all I'm doing is I'm taking y and minusing 18, and I get this y minus 18 for my answer. So we're going to keep practicing. We're going to take our time for this lesson. We're going to split this up into two. Today we're just doing adding and subtracting. Tomorrow we'll focus on multiplying and dividing. So number 2 says solve for y. So that means that I have to get y by itself. And how I do that is I'm simply going to first write out the equation y minus x equals r. And this one's really weird, right? I don't have any numbers. How am I doing math without numbers? But this is important. Sometimes these letters or variables represent numbers. And so it's important for us to be able to have the skills to be able to specifically get these equations to fit the variable that we're solving for. So we are solving for y, which means I have to move this x, specifically this minus x. So again, just like we've been practicing, we do the opposite. We're going to add x, right? It's subtracting x here, so I'm going to add x, which means I have to add x here. Again, this looks weird, but what happens is this negative x and this positive x cancels, and I get y equals r plus x. Oops, sorry. Let me, again, reset zoom. Sorry, my tablet's very sensitive. Get this. Oh my gosh. Try that again. Sorry about that, guys. So that I get y equals r plus x. And that's how I go about solving the problem. So, another example is this type of problem here, number 4. Sometimes it just gets just a couple more steps, right? The examples that I just did just now, those are multi-step or singular step. These are going to be a little bit more multi-step. But again, we approach the problem the same way. We first identify what are we solving for. In this case, I'm solving for x. So I'm going to take this equation, x minus 4y minus z equals a. And I'm going to go and solve. So I'm going to do this. X minus 4y minus z equals a. So what do I do? Well, I'm first going to decide which one of these two I'm going to move. I know that to get x by itself, I have to move these two parts, right? These two terms. So I can just decide whichever one I want to move. So I'm going to decide to move the z. So I'm going to add the z. Again, this is a negative z or a minus z, so I'm going to add z. That means I have to add z here. These cancel out, become 0. So now I have x minus 4y equals a, and I know that looks like a 2, but don't judge me, plus z. And from here, all I have left to move is this minus 4y. And again, I'm going to move it the same way. I'm going to add 4y. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm going to add 4y. And I get this. X equals a plus z plus, whoops, again, I feel like a boomer. Gonna reset. Plus 4y. And once I have my variable by itself, I can see that x is by itself. I'm done. I've solved the equation. So from here, that is my answer. So I would type in on Alex, a plus z plus 4y, and that's it. Let's do another example. We're going to do number 5. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to erase all of this. Okay. And I'm going to first look at what I'm solving for. I'm solving for r. I am solving for r. So I'm going to solve for r. I'm going to read my equation. P equals 6 minus q plus r. So from here, I'm going to write out the equation for you guys to see. 6 minus q plus r. Now I get to decide. I know that I have to move the 6 and the q. Those are the ones I have to get to this side. So how am I going to do that? I am going to first add q. That means I have to add q to this side. Now the reason why I added q again is because that's a minus q. So I do the opposite. So I get p plus q equals r. No, it's not. Made a mistake. Equals 6 plus r. There you go. Next thing I have to move, and the last thing I have to move is a 6. So I'm going to see that it's a positive 6. I'm going to minus 6. Go to minus 6. Again, I can't do the math for any of these, so I can just simply say what I'm doing. I'm saying p plus q minus 6 equals r. And that is my answer. And that's how you go about solving equations with more than one variable. So yeah, hope you're able to understand kind of what's happening. Again, my recommendation, pause as much as you need, rewatch as much as you need. Always refer back to these videos. And yeah, this is part 1 of our last lesson for chapter 1. Good luck on your assignment, and I'll see you guys. Bye.